Okay, cool. So I was saying, oh, well, I will ask you, okay, as you wrote to me, what is your future in chess? How do you see yourself in the future in chess?
Um, my personal goal with chess right now is I'm trying to be the uh, first person to get their grandmaster title at above 50. Grandmaster Ben Feingold got his title at 40. So I'm gonna try to beat him out.
I like it. I like it. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions very quick, so don't think about it. All right,
All right.
Magnus or Hikaru,
Magnus.
Anish Giri or Levon Aroniak,
Aronian.
Virit or Gukesh.
Mm. Hmm. Gukesh.
All right, Kasparov or Fischer.
Kasparov.
Cool, cool. You or Dex.
Me. Me.
All right.
Definitely me. I mean, Dex will tell you that. Definitely me. Definitely
Yeah.
me. Yeah. I mean, you got to factor in that he rated higher than me. So for him to even be in the same, um, well, not necessarily the same class as me, but he rated higher than me, so he should be compared with his contemporaries, but he's not because he's not excelling
All
in his
right.
class. He need to take my chess coaching.
I mean, do you consider yourself a coach for Dex? Dex see you as a coach or no, as your competition?
Um, I mean, I think because we boys, it would be natural that we have a small rivalry. We both boys that play chess. But when it comes to coaching, studying, and knowing things, yeah, I know more, a lot more.
Okay. Now, there was I interviewed you before, right? And you were telling me that you have been playing chess for 20 years. I mean, 20 years is something. Now, what has keeping you playing chess? What do you see in chess that that makes you play it like I have talked to you before, like 8 hours per day? What is what is that passion about it? What do you see in chess?
Uh, I think if a person, in my case, as far as what I see in chess, like I was saying earlier, chess is life, and when you don't had a life that you feel like could use some work, a lot of people turn to different things for that work. Some people turn to religion, for example, or exercising. And in my case, I feel like trying to master chess is the equivalent of trying to master your life. So to go from just a regular player all the way to having a major brand like chess.com support me personally, I think the light of my dream with chess already really been fulfilled. Now I'm just trying to fulfill personal goals, but the overall goal, the overall reason why I even got into chess, I really felt like it's been fulfilled. It's hard to know, for example, that things or the world gonna turn out like it did. When I started in chess, you had to do a lot of work to get good. And now I feel like while it's a benefit on one hand that a person can actually just go online and pretty much learn everything they need to know, it still take discipline to want to do that. Some people just can't even do that. And it make you wonder, like, with all this information out there, why this person ain't get better? Why that person ain't get better? Me and Dex have conversations all the time. He'd be like, yo, B, I've been doing this for like 20 years and I feel like I just ain't where I want to be. So, the end result be take time off and go in the lab. In one of the skits that we had up, it says a lot of people are not willing to take 6 months off of the rest of their life and devote it to what they're trying to do. Sometimes you got to disappear for like 6 months and just go in the lab, work on your game, work on your character, because you want the whole package. See, people think that strong players are struggling to have a good game. No, we already got a good game, but you have to have the whole package to be somebody, And what I mean when I say the whole package is like you got to be charismatic if you're going to be speaking on interviews like I'm doing right now. You have to be able to explain chess the way that you play it if you're going to have students, and you just have to step into this whole new world, this whole new way of life that you gonna embrace, because you have to realize when you're talking on that level, people say professional chess player. So now if me and you play tournaments, so why we ain't consider professional chess players? Because the professionalism that goes with it is what we have to add to the game. So good game, good personality, good character. If you notice, a lot of great players in every field, they know the whole history of that field. If you say Michael Jordan, who won this championship, he gonna know 1877 it was this team. And I used to wonder, why do they have to, why Magnus got to know all these people? Magnus, they want him to look at positions and tell them what game it was. Why is it important for him to know that? But then I realized, because when you're going to say your goal is to be the greatest at something that other people are great at, then you need every single morsel of information that separates you from everybody else. So when you say grandmaster, you expect them to know all the openings. And the only way that a grandmaster can really truly step out and say, yeah, here you go, is to play them all in front of us at some point. So once we see a grandmaster step out of his opening repertoire and start playing openings that we play, we get more excited. Like, it get a little boring when we know all they want to play is the Wu and Lopez. So, need a little fire in chess when you learn.
Maybe for example, a person who is starting, maybe he doesn't have that title of a grandmaster. Maybe he doesn't have a title that says he's a professional in chess. But the attitude starts, without the necessity of having that title. I mean, it's like you say, it's an attitude. I mean,
right.
If you will have to list, a list of elements that what makes a very good chess player, or what's the difference? Okay, what is the difference between a very amazing chess player and the regular chess player, maybe amateur? What is that differentiates one from the other?
I think just like with in any other field, it's how much time you're willing to put into what you're trying to do, as well as your natural aptitude for what you're doing. Like a person might want to be a mathematician, but if they don't love math itself, then how would they become a mathematician? They that don't mean they don't know math though. You see, they still may know math, but they're just not a mathematician. So a person can be an international master, national master, all of them gonna get the same respect when you play them, because your mind goes, okay, this is a title player. And you're not looking at where they are, you're looking at where they came from. That's really internally how we measure them. We go, in order to get that title, you had to beat this big field here. Chess is like a funnel. So it's broader at the weakest end, is more people that you got to come through to reach your title, unless you was able to play somewhere where you could skip all that. Like when they play in the juniors in today, see, they get those titles. I mean, they're called FM, and their rating only has to be like about 17, 1800 or something like that. So you see, so in some countries, a lot of us are already stronger and higher to them than what we are to where we at, because we're at the motherland. So it would be just like an NBA player versus a CBA player over there in one of those countries. To their country, that CBA player is the equivalent of an NBA player. But when they play an NBA player from the US, they go, see, that's why we don't like them. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with chess. You know, some countries you don't have to have an exceptionally high rating to get a title. You know, when you're talking grandmaster, that costs. So some international masters, a lot of them actually are grandmasters, but some don't want to pay for the title, and some of them just haven't achieved every single requirement that it takes to be a GM. You could take Irina Krush, for example. Nothing about Irina Krush for like about the last 5 years of her being an international master was not already grandmaster. She was winning the U.S. championship and then had a title. She was, and that was against all the other grandmasters because that's how you get everything that you need for your grandmaster title. You obviously have to play with them. And that's what Nakamura was saying. Somebody in reference to me, he didn't know that, but somebody in reference to me asked him on his live about whether or not it could be a such thing as a street grandmaster. And he was saying no because he felt like they needed to play grandmasters more. But think about that answer. You know, the only thing he felt like would separate them from being a grandmaster was they would need to play the grandmaster so they could get all of the non-book grandmaster elements. But as far as just outright how I play, the average player wouldn't know the difference between me and a grandmaster winning against him because it would still require the same principles.
Exactly. That foundation. That's the most important.
Right.
Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was going to say that. Well, my viewers don't know, right? But you were right. You were from having your account closed by chess.com because they thought you were cheating. Okay, all right, etc. To now coaching on the platform chess.com. I mean, uh, that's amazing. I mean, what will be your message? Okay, because obviously you have had this success because of your hard work. I mean, because all the hours that you put into it. I mean, this is the result that you can perceive now. So, what will be your message to young people, or in general, who want to be good in chess or maybe in another discipline? What will be your mindset, the right mindset to achieve that?
Um, yeah, I'll touch on both points real brief. It's never really technically chess.com that thinks that a person is cheating. It's usually the person's opponent that actually thinks it and takes the first action. And chess.com would then try to ascertain through whatever means they were using at first to determine if the person was cheating. But I think that with so much different um, allegations of cheating going on all at the same time, chess.com just realized and decided that they had to overhaul their process for trying to determine if a person just got better or if a person is actually cheating. Now, what I have experienced though as the consequences of this overhaul so far is that it takes longer to be reimbursed points if you are cheating. When we look at it though, it's a big statement for a brand to say, well, we like how you approach the situation, we like how you did whatever over it, and to allow us coaches to use their brand to back ourselves is definitely major. Because you're talking about the biggest brand in chess right now outside of USCF, chess.com is really, offering a lot for people to try to start their platform, especially with their dealings with Twitch and the whole nine. For students out there, just understand that when you choosing your chess opening, you need to know everything you can about at least one opening for each color. But you have to be willing to invest. If you invest a lot of time in thoroughly understanding one opening, you saved yourself from having to do it for every single opening that you decide you want to play. Because if you can thoroughly understand one chess opening, you understand them all. And people have to understand that when you listen to grandmasters talk, they talk in a way where they're hinting to you that your job as a student is to be able to not lose a chess game 3 times. You have to not lose in the opening. So it's like you get to go, okay, made it through the opening. Now let's deal with this middle game. So now all of the knowledge that you use to make it through the opening, you know, if they did some random move, you had to start using your general principles and your imbalances and the whole nine. But if they stayed in script, then we got to a point safely. And we at this point now, and now I have to use my imbalances and my general principles and all of this. Now, once we enter the realm of tactics or positional play, whichever way the game goes, we're going to reach the end game. Now, either if it was tactical, that means this end game something is about to go down in the DM. And if it's positional, it could be a whole nother 50 moves in a technical sense. So you talking now I have to win this one too. So if I outplay my opponent in the opening and I didn't win, I have to take that and outplay them in the middle game. And if I didn't win, I got to take that and outplay them in the end game to finally win. And so you have to win 3 times. And if you approach the chess game from that perspective, then it's easier to work on your game because you're working on your game three different ways. You're working on your opening. You might say an hour or two on my opening every day, an hour or two on my middle game every day. And when you're working on your middle game, you're using like Art of the Middle Game books and you're doing a lot of tactical puzzles and stuff. And when you're working on your end game, you get an end game book and you do a lot of end game puzzles. So through the way that chess.com got it set up now, you can be specific about what kind of puzzles you're doing. So you can put them in their appropriate place. See, some people just do puzzles. Whatever puzzle pop up, I'm just going straight down the list. You can do that when you're saying you're trying to get your puzzle rating up. You're just doing whatever pop up because you're just trying to get points. But if you say I'm trying to use puzzle to work on my game, then you want to specifically say, when I'm working on my opening, you want to go on chess.com and ask for opening puzzles. So it'll give you all puzzles that involve openings. Then when you're working on your middle game, you go get all puzzles that's dealing with middle game play, positional, tactical, you mixing it up. And then in game, you doing all in game puzzles. And then along the way, you got your books too to keep your mindset. See, books do like what novels do. A novel allows your brain to grow, your mind to grow, because you're sitting there visualizing a story that you're reading. So however good the author is, gives you how much detail you putting into how you picturing the process going. But then your mind says, well, since I like this, I'll make her look like this and that. So if the author says she's walking down the street, but it don't say what kind of dress she had on, your mind will assimilate it based on what you like. And she had on a dress that you like, and so you're able to really connect with the dream. That's how it is in chess. You're trying to connect with that position. You're trying to be able to think separate from yourself. It's like you're trying to be able to clearly talk to yourself. If I push this pawn, I can make his bishop bad. And once I make his bishop bad, I can proceed to try to capitalize off of it by attacking this color square. So you're talking to yourself in a clear, thought out plan. What moves do I need to get this done? if you're unable to communicate with yourself like that, then your thoughts will be jumbled up. And if it's not a clear route for you to win, you just won't win all the time.
What I like you when I was in the training with you, one of the things that I realized that I really like it is that you maybe in the way that you're teaching, you bring the game of chess to a position that I mean, I consider myself that I'm not brilliant in chess, and not brilliant, let's say in general, but you close the distance between what is chess and you bring it to the regular knowledge that maybe not, well, let's say anybody can play good chess if they have the right framework, or the right tools
Right.
to work for, because you create like a path, okay, in which they can uh, locate or put them, okay, and from there they're going to start applying the framework that you gave them, the vision that you gave them, and they are going to start, applying these tools that are going to allow to create a very unique game with a very unique style that they have never imagined that they could achieve. I mean, you brought that, the brilliance of the chess game. You brought it together to a regular person. That is what I think that
Right.
is a coach work, that bring closer the knowledge so you can understand it.
Right. Yeah. See, the way that come about is because when I started what I consider to be lower than the average chess player. Like I started where you couldn't have a clock. I started where you barely could have a book. You couldn't have so many books. And I think those conditions built nerves, and that's helpful in tournament play. But it allowed me to see a way for a person that don't have a lot of money. At the end of the day, when you're trying to recruit new chess students or new people to chess as a whole, it's always just like anything else going to come down to how much for this, how much for that. And if you love chess, you're able to be flexible on the prices, but flexibility on prices is all based on responses of the students. If you charge me less for, let's say, a yoga class, you would be very appreciative if I come in, get busy, and bounce. You know what I mean? Because you feel like, get it, learn it. I got people that pay me more, so they next, they coming in at 10. So I really can't afford for you to stay over when I'm already giving you a deal. So all of that kind of stuff is just the technical side that made me feel like hiring somebody that could deal with all that part, what it costs, who got to pay what. And the way I'm able to coach effectively is because I see my playing and my coaching as two different things. I think that, like, you take somebody like Floyd Mayweather, we consider him to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer in the world. But what about his corner? Would it be a fair assumption to say, well, since his corner trained him to be that, they nice too? No. So it was the realization and acceptance that to be a good chess trainer or chess coach doesn't necessarily require you to be a good player.
That's true. I mean, there's